Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Fiscal Talk. My name is Milica, and I am marketing manager at Fiscal Solutions. And my today's guest is Nevena Glusac. She is legal consultant at Fiscal Solutions and definitely a fiscal expert for country Albania, which will be our topic also today. Nevena, hello. We are going to talk about one really interesting topic today. So tell me, how are you? And are you ready to give us some answers today?
Hello, Milica. Hello to everybody who's watching us. I'm sure that this topic will attract a lot of viewers. Certification processes, everybody who knows anything about fiscalization, you know that they can be quite a nightmare. So this is why we're here today. Let's try to make it simpler. Let's see what are the steps and what we can do to make it less of a nightmare for you.
Yes, of course. So let's start with it. Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Of course. So I have, of course, question like every time. My first question would be, what actually is the role of certification in Albania's new fiscalization system?
Yes. So what we know is that this current fiscalization system requires that all documents, so receipts, invoices, accompanying invoices, they have to be issued through a certified software. So we're talking about a certified POS solution. Of course, there are always exceptions to a rule. There are certain categories, let's say, of taxpayers that don't have to use these certified solutions. They can issue receipts through a central invoicing platform. But since not many categories qualify for this, let's call it simplified procedure. And there are quite a bit of information regarding this. Maybe I'll just stick to this main category of taxpayers to whom the certification process applies.
Okay, let's focus on the certification process then. So my next question, according to the certification process, is everyone eligible to certify their software solution in Albania?
So that's a great question. I would say no, because only certain manufacturers and maintainers of POS solutions are eligible, let's say. For example, they first have to register into separate registers. And depending on whether we're talking about domestic or foreign manufacturers and maintainers, some of them will find this process simpler, while the other ones will probably struggle a bit. And it's not because the registration of them, the process is not that hard, but it has a lot of steps. And of course, for domestic legal entities, it's always easier. And also next to registration, they also have to acquire a digital certificate, because now we know that all receipts, all transactions, they have to be digitally signed. So those are some of the first two steps that they have to take.
So if I understood well, you want to say that any legal entity, domestic or foreign, can register as a software manufacturer?
Well, I see why it may appear so, but as always, they do have to fulfill certain additional requirements. Like they have to have a specific number of employees. These employees have to have certain qualifications. They have to have them for a certain period of time. And then there are different criteria for the expertise that the employees have to have. The company has to have professional business activity for at least 1 year before they even apply to get their solution certified. Depending on certain things, they have to realize a specific annual turnover. Of course, the software manufacturers, they have to work in the field of actually developing the software, the maintaining it, the selling it, or selling some other fiscal equipment. So this is, of course, exemplary. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are quite a few of those requirements that as a software manufacturer or maintainer in Albania.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. And as for those who register successfully, do they have to fulfill certain requirements for the certification process?
Yes. So it's mostly administrative requirements. For example, they have to submit certain information regarding themselves as a company, their employees. They have to submit certain documentation. Of course, they're sending it to the Albanian authorities, so mainly the Albanian General Directorate of Taxes. And also, one specific thing is that they even have to deposit a bank or insurance guarantee. So, a certain amount of money that the General Directorate of Taxes will keep in case they don't meet the requirements that are set by the certification process, the certification regulation.
Yeah, I can see where it's going. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for the answers. And for the end, I would like to ask you, specifically you, what do you think? How complex is the certification process in Albania? How do you see it?
Yes. My answer will probably partially subjective, partially objective, because yeah, I mean, there are many countries that have certification processes, and I'm sure Albania's isn't the hardest or the easiest one. But if I have to say how complex it is, I'd say very. And I think it's mainly because there's at least a dozen areas that are tested during this process, and there are a lot of steps that the manufacturer or the maintainer has to make. And the software itself has a lot of mandatory functionalities that it needs to support before it's even submitted for certification. So when we look at all of that, there's quite a few requirements that need to be fulfilled. So it's probably a bit tricky, but I think with the right support, it's definitely not impossible.
Yeah, thank you. Can I add just one thing? I think like the every single certification process is complex.
Yes.
It's just you have to have something certified, so you know.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
complex somehow, like every single. Thank you once again for your time, and thank you for the answers. For me, especially, were significant. I love to talk with you about a lot of countries and their requirements, especially fiscal ones, of course. So thank you once again. And
Thank
if
you.
anyone else has some questions, feel free to ask our Nevena Glusac. She is legal consultant at Fiscal Solutions and also fiscal expert, especially for Albania. So thanks everyone for watching. And if you have, of course, some other questions, or if you would like to see some documents and something like that, you should go and visit our fiscal portal, which is our online fiscal library. We will put the links below. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.